Hello, hello, my wonderful people. Welcome back to Ask Coach V. Woohoo! Hello, Coach Ivon.
Hey, Coach V. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode. And as you guys know, we love doing this show. It's really fun. And the way it works is I show up with some questions that I see agents asking, and I present them to a master coach, Coach V here. And we get her take on it. And we have a nice conversation about it. Right, Coach V?
Yes, your master Coach V here and Super Coach Ivon. Happy to bring you guys some ideas, clarities on your questions as well. So let's get started. And today is a beautiful day to talk business and make money.
I think every day is. All right, so let's do it. So I got two very different questions for you today, kind of on different sides of the real estate spectrum, but they're fun ones, and I think we'll have a good time with them. So let me ask you this first question. So the first question I want to ask you, Coach V, is at what point do you have to make a team? And part two of that would be, do you have to have a team? Because I've seen a lot of people talking and people asking about, they start to get successful and they want to grow more. But at what point do you say, okay, you have to have a team? Or is there even a point where you have to have it? Because what if you don't want to manage a team?
Oh, I love this question, Coach. I love this question.
So I ended up talking a lot with that question, right? So let's boil it down to this. Part one, at what point do you have to have a team? Part two, do you have to have a team? Can you just be a solo agent?
Fantastic. So I'm going to start with part two.
Okay, whatever. You're the boss.
I'm the boss. I love that. A team always outperforms an individual. A team always outperforms an individual. And if you don't have a team, you're never going to have a life, because our business is a very demanding business. Someone has to be there to answer, respond, and show homes. So if you don't have a team, you can't go on vacation. You can't take a day off. So again, let's also establish this. What is a team, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
A team, if you have one transaction coordinator, you have a team. If you have one assistant, you have a team. And by the way, even your vendors are part of your team, your inspectors, your photographers, videographers, right? So my point is, first of all, you got to have a team. Otherwise, you'll never have a life. And a team now depends on your model. So I can give you an example. For example, let me tell you about Jason or Mayna. A lot of people that I have, let's say Mayna. Mayna has 2.5 employees and 4 people on the staff. Actually 5. We just hired on the staff now on the team of sales.
Like
team.
Agents.
So he has 5 agents and 2.5 on the staff, plus a part-time marketing person. So that's his team, and that's his model. And with that model, he can sell over 130 homes easily, because I sold myself 135 homes per year with that 2.5 employees, me plus 2 other agents. So that model works really well. Then let me give you the different example. Andrea, you guys met Andrea Gordon. She's right here in California in the Bay Area. Andrea did last year over 100 million in volume, about 100 million 12. And in volume, she did 3.2 in gross commission. I helped her to get there. I'm so excited and proud of her. Her team is 2 full-time employees plus a transaction coordinator. And it's just her. Now, how is she able to do so many transactions? Because when she gets too many leads, she invites, because she's an individual. She doesn't have sales agents.
Right, so she's a solo agent.
Solo agent. She's with Compass. Mayna is with Remax, by the way, just if you're curious. So it's her, 2 full-time people, plus a TC. And I helped her to do that, because I said, Andrea, you gotta have boots on the ground. Otherwise, you can't do anything. You're never gonna have a day off, because when you list 2, 3, 4, 5 a week, right now she has 19 in pre-listing, Yvonne. She has 19 listings getting ready to go on the market. So imagine when they all go on the market, who's going to help her to show those homes and to do open house? So what she did, and she doesn't want to have this big sales team. I said, let's have boot on the ground. Get 2 people in the office that you like, that you trust, that we can coach them up a little bit. And then you say, hey, I have a great lead for you. Go show the lead for me. Go show the home for me. You can write the offer. I'll take care of the rest. and we go 50-50%. That is his model. So Maynard is a whole model of this is my team and it's super successful. He did 2.4 million last year in gross commission. He actually took 4.5 months off. He took
Not
4.5 months off. So not bad, right? So two different models.
Right. So let's pause for a second and make sure that we kind of put this in some clear words for everyone. So right away, when we talk about team, it doesn't just mean a big sales team of agents, right? We want to say the answer is yes. You have to have a team, meaning people that support you, meaning your assistant, meaning your vendors, meaning whatever it might be. You need to surround yourself with people that are on your team and people that help you. Now, if you want to have a large or small team of sales agents, then it depends on what model you want to have. And it's up to you, right, Coach V?
Exactly. And it goes even deeper, even further. If you want to have a sales team, like a sales agent, not be an individual like Andrea, you can also decide, well, I want to have a seal tight team with 3 or 5, or you can come to me and say, hey, coach, help me to build a mega star team with 19 people. For example, Devon Tryon, he wanted to have 15 people on his team. So again, ask yourself, what do I want? I know I have to have a team, otherwise I can never go away on vacation for 2 weeks. Because, if you list a lot of homes and if you don't have sales agent or someone to cover for you, who's going to help you to do open houses? Who's going to help you to optimize those leads from open house or from the sale call, sign call, or from social media or anything? So I believe the best way is to have sales team, because also if you have, for example, another example, if you have 3 people on your team, Coach Ivon, and one of them—
3 agents or 3 employees?
3 agents.
3 agents.
3 sales agents. Thank you for clarifying. You're so good at that. So you have a staff, you have your staff. Awesome. Now you have 3 sales agents in your team. And one of them is more of a driver, because that's a great personality to be a listening agent, right? Someone who can take rejection, someone who's strong and really very into converting the sellers and working with people who are very demanding. So that person you can also train to be your listing agent in the team. So if you go away for 3 weeks, because nobody's going to wait for you for 3 weeks to list a home. People want to sell, they want to sell now. So you can have a listing person that can even do it for you and also for the team. Now, another thing, can I say one more thing?
Go for it.
Awesome. Depends also on your model. How do you want to have your sales team? I know, because I coach forever. I've been coaching over a decade, and I coach people on all different levels. I have team that say, coach, I will be the team leader and the listing agent. Everyone under me is buyer's agent. And maybe I'll train one person to do my listings while I'm on vacation. So that's one style. My style, I didn't have buyer's agent in my team. And I believe that's a very good way to go. I coach and train them all to list and sell, so to be buyer's agent and listing agent, because I wanted them to be independent, also to be strong in every set of skills. And if I'm going on vacation for 3 weeks or a month and a half, like Vanda, they are listing and selling. So they are very independent and very self-sufficient. Does this make sense, Coach?
Yeah, it makes sense. So
you see how many ways you can go?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, and something that sometimes people forget is, look, if you're a real estate agent, you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner, it's up to you what you want to do, right? Yeah, of course, we want to be successful. We want to make money, but there are different ways to go about doing that, right? It's not like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do this. Of course, there are some things that are just, look, everyone has to do this because that's effective. But within that, there's a lot of wiggle room.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, Coach V, before we...
One more thing.
Okay.
Andrea, because I want to clarify, Andrea had 2 assistants. They have a license. So they are employees, but they can also act as showing agent. Go show a home for me, and then Andrea write the offer. So I just want to add that, because people might say, oh my gosh, how can one person with 2.5 employees can do over $100 million and 88 transactions by herself? Oh yeah, she is very strategic with my help and very resourceful.
Nice. Well, then let's just, to put a period on this question, let's bring it back to the other section of the question, which was, when do you know it's the right time to have a team? So at what point should you start considering it?
That's so, so important because you need to have clarity. Now, I had an old coach, a little older style, a long time ago. And he's like, when you're doing 38 transactions or 30 plus transaction, you build your team. So guys and girls, let me tell you this right away. That's old style. Look, the first person you hire right away, first, without a doubt, is your transaction coordinator. So immediately you got to have a team from the very first day. Does this make sense, Coach?
Makes sense.
Because you cannot be pushing paper. I told myself, you see, thank God I had years of business and I had many companies before. So I knew the price of time. I knew the value of energy. And I'm like, I'm not going to be pushing paper. My best time, what I do best is talking to people, being in front of people, getting appointments, right? So right away, people in my office, Coach Ivon, they was laughing because here I am, brand new. I hired TC right away. And then I said, you know what? I need more help. I'm not going to do all this stuff. I also hire an assistant. And they're like, you brand new. They stopped laughing very quickly, Vaughn, because right away, I start selling, my first year, I sold 32 homes. So again, where do you put your time? Where you are strategic? So right away, hire your assistant. If you can hire someone who can do the transaction coordination and help you with your marketing, your systems, fantastic. Otherwise, do both. Otherwise, hire the transaction coordinator that does business per transaction. If they do per transaction, for example, I know like in the Central Valley, California, it's about $350 for them to do a transaction for you. Now in the Bay Area or maybe Los Angeles too is about $500. So wherever you are in Florida and Ohio, Wisconsin, Texas, it depends on the price. I had a transaction coordinator right away. And when I got to 18 transactions per year, I hired someone full-time for me as a transaction coordinator. And at one point we had 42 open escrow. Now, the next one is a regular assistant. So you have a TC, an assistant, because you don't want to be the one that, updating your database, making appointments. You got to delegate that. Remember that the 80-20 rule, Coach Ivon?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You want to spend 80% of your time on the things that are moving the needle, 20% of your time on everything else. Unfortunately, what happens, and we know this really well, is that usually gets flipped, right? And agents end up spending 80% of their time doing all the minutia and all the paperwork and all of that crazy sort of stuff.
Yes.
So, got it. So you start building your team right away with the transaction coordinator. Next step, get some assistant help. And hey, look, you don't have to wait until you can afford a full-time assistant to delegate some of that stuff. You can get a virtual assistant to do some even just individual tasks for you to take stuff off your plate. So, okay, once we cover that, Coach V, what about like a sales agent? When would you say, hey, now's a good time, you should start thinking about it?
Oh, such a great question. And by the way, one more thing, you can get an intern, you can hire your own nephew to do your social media. Be resourceful, be resourceful. Okay, what do you want? I know some people, hey, Coach, I like my buyers. I don't have to be a listing agent. Hey, if you like your buyers, great. But even if you like the buyers, if you have a lot of leads, like my client Varsha in the Bay Area, she has so many leads. We got to have a buyer because otherwise she's missing out so much business. She's bleeding business, leaving money on the table. So even if you like buyers and you don't want to do a lot of listings, trust me, if you have more, here's the key. If you have more than 4 hot buyers ready to buy today, from today to a month, no contingencies, no problem, highly motivated. If you have more than 4, you already need another salesperson. Can I tell you why?
Yeah, go for it.
Let me tell you this. Look, even with buyers, you have buyers, listings going to come. And as you build your business, you become better, more strategic, good. Listings going to show up. And you want listings. Come on, we all know who owns the listings owns the game, right? Who controls the listings, control the market. So I know you guys might like buyers, but I also know that you love to have listings because when you have listings, the buyers come to you. So you can't have more, even with high energy like me, even if you have a lot of energy, you can have more than 5 hot buyers and show homes, preview homes, write offers, negotiate offers, service those buyers, and still do your business of lead generation, follow up, touch your database, and go to listing appointments. It's not doable. And you can do it for a while, but it's not sustainable, and you're going to have breakdowns and you're going to fall apart. Does this make sense?
Makes sense. So there you go, guys. When you get to 4 active, qualified, motivated buyers looking right now, if you're sitting there at that point right now, start thinking about having some help, having that sales agent.
I love it. Let's qualify, because again, coach, many people sometimes say active and the people not motivated. Hot, not wish, want. If you have one,
right. It's not someone who's told you, yeah, I'd like to buy a house someday.
Yeah. So you can have 15 leads. And like, for example, 4 are hot, and then 5 is warm and the rest is cold. Yeah, you can have all those leads. But if you have more, and I'll say if your energy is average or to a little K, yeah, 3 or 4. But your energy maybe is high, you can do 5, but out there, even 5 is a lot, because you want to have the time, the energy, and the mental and emotional capacity to go after listening. So this is how
absolutely makes sense. Yeah. So let's move to question number 2. We spent a little bit of time on question number 1, but it was really a deep one, right? It was multi-part. Yeah. So it almost counts as a couple. But let me hit you with question number 2. This one I pulled right from a group. It's a little different from question number 1. So this was posted just kind of like a scenario. So we're at the final walkthrough. Closing is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Client turns to his wife and says, "Would you be mad at me if we back out of the deal? I'm having second thoughts." So,
and the closing.
Yeah. So the closing is tomorrow at 9 a.m. And the client turns to his wife and says, "Would you be mad at me if we back out of the deal? I'm having second thoughts." So you're the agent, you're there with them, and you see this happen. What do you do in that situation, Coach V? What do you tell to the husband who's now turning to his wife the day before closing is supposed to happen, saying, maybe we should back out?
Okay. So this is a very loaded question, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Because,
I don't know exactly what's going on. Is the house have problems?
Right. Well, so let's give a generalized answer. Yeah. So we don't know what's going on. So maybe right away, what we should start doing is asking questions to this person.
Exactly. So I'm just setting the stage here that I don't know the details to answer, because it can go many ways, right? If they've been having second thoughts and doubting through the whole process, it's different from all of a sudden, I'm having cold feet.
So let's treat it as an all of a sudden I'm having cold feet, because I think that's what the person was going for when they wrote it.
Thank
you. What would you do there?
First of all, I will let the wife answer, because I don't want to be mean or rude, and see what the wife said, because the wife might do the whole sale for me.
Yeah, that's a fair point right there.
The wife might say, "Are you out of your mind? I want this house. It's mine. We're buying it." Right?
Yeah, could happen.
So I would wait. I'll take very quietly and a deep breath, and I'm going to my computer software. Okay, what am I going to do from now, right? So you got to put yourself in that stage, because it's time to negotiate, and it's time to bring your diplomacy hat on. Darlings, that's the beauty of having confidence in this business and really understanding people psychology, because sometimes shit's going to hit the fan like this. People are going to go crazy. So first of all, take a deep breath. Don't get emotional. Don't go panic, because first of all, I see so many things. And then let the wife talk a little bit, and then say, excuse me. Hey, John, let me ask you a question, John, because this is important, right? I mean, this is a big decision, and we're right here in the end, and you have your deposit on the line. So let me ask you a question. Why are you feeling this way? I go right to the feeling, because the feeling is a motivation. Would you agree, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who knows what's running through his head, what he's feeling, what he's thinking. So get him to share that with you.
Yeah.
And so, okay, he tells you, I don't know. I'm having second thoughts. What do you say there?
I can appreciate that. And by the way, this is very normal. Make him feel really heard and validated, because that's actually what he wants. At that moment, what's going to his mind? Am I doing the right thing? Am I being crazy? Oh my God, I'm buying this $1 million home or this $500,000 home. What happened if I lose my job? What happened if this happened? What happened if everything goes to hell? People having second thoughts because they're going to the unknown place. They're going to the fear mode, the most unsettling, crazy state in the world, the state of unknown. So there's a lot of stuff running his head right now. So we got to remove the fear, the uncertainty, and help him to see the light. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, right? So ask him some questions. Bring up the conversation of, hey, what was your motivation in the first place? Let's
Yeah.
revisit what's important
Yeah.
about
But
that.
before that, we gotta say, hey, why are you feeling this way? Oh, I don't know. It's just a second thought. I don't know. And you go deeper. I understand. And it can be very frustrating and also gives you a little anxiety, right? If you knew what it was, what do you think it is? Go deep. Go deep. Because if you give him some time, he'll tell you what it is.
Right. And once you find out what really is the one thing, the one thought in their head, then you can handle it like any other objection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, and then if you say, if you knew, oh, I don't know what it is, I understand it. It's kind of confusing, but if you knew what it was, and then he might say, what if I lose my job? What if the house is not the right home? What if we could wait and 2 weeks from now we get a better home? Now they're going to give you the objection. And then you can make him feel valid, important, heard, and validated. And then you can answer that and close. And then you can deal with that. So unless you know what's really giving him the anxiety, the nervousness, you can give the red pill if he needs a blue pill, right? So again, I ask more questions. Tell me why you're feeling this way. What has to happen to feel confident? If you knew, if I can address the issue, the challenge you have right now, can we proceed? There's so many ways you can go. And that's why the power of knowing your skills and understanding people is amazing. So
and I think it's interesting too, because when we have a situation like this and I see someone, share this scenario, and a lot of the responses are, upset agents or frustrated agents. And the thing is, I think we really need to make sure that we don't feel that like anyone is owed this transaction going through because we got this far and now this guy is making your life hard or this guy's just causing trouble. Because at the end of the day, it's all about them, right? It's all about them. It's about getting them what they want, and getting frustrated or getting angry or saying, this is ridiculous doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, and I love you say that, Coach, because that shows lack of skills, because they don't have negotiation skills and diplomacy skills. So when someone wants something, when someone wants something, in the moment they say, I want this, I want to stop, I want to quit, I want to back out of the deal, you are in negotiation. And the number one thing that you got to have is empathy. They are going through some trouble. It's a cry for help. If they want to stop something they're supposed to go. And when they want something, you got to collaborate. You got to go with them, not against them, because the moment you feel them, make them feel stupid or bad or wrong, you lost it and you're not helping anything. So collaboration and empathy. And of course, number 2 is listening. It's our negotiation skills and communication skills. So the moment the agent gets pissed off, upset, first of all, he lost clarity, he lost focus, and now he's not in connection with the client. The client can feel, and now we have a hostile situation. And by the way, at the end of the day, have a little empathy. I believe, Coach Ivon, that every agent should buy a home every 2 years. So they understand
Just remember what the process is like.
To remember, because there's an emotional process. I don't care if they're a millionaire and they buy a lot of homes every 3 years. They don't buy a home every day. They forget stuff, and emotion is in the high level. So when people are getting cold feet, that's why, by the way, when you get an offer accepted, when it's getting close to close, that's when you get closer to them, and your communication has to be double, triple. That's when you got to be very abundant with your communication, because that's when people start wondering, my offer got accepted. The next 48 hours, people might have fears about it, cold feet. So you got to really prepare them. Oh, I understand how you feel. Hey, by the way, this is very normal. It's very normal to have that trepidation, because it's a big decision, isn't it? Now, I believe you're doing the right thing. So assure them, ask the great question, know the problem, and then address the problem and help him to see that he's doing the options. Go over the motivation, remind him the dream, or remind him the pain that he's having. He's paying someone else's mortgage, he's paying rent, he has no equity, and if he waits, so again, go over the motivation, go over the pain with empathy, with respect, with a lot of diplomacy, and then ask him to make a decision that is based what is best for him or for her. Make sense?
It makes sense. And I think that's the perfect place to, finish it. Up the empathy, ask more questions, make it all about them. Really listen to what they're telling you so that way you know what to tell them. And look, don't take yourself out of it. No emotion, no frustration. It's all about getting the job done. And the best way to do that is to help this person, right?
Fear is normal. It's our job to resolve. So again, ask yourself, if you're getting upset, pissed off, angry, is because, first of all, you have the wrong expectation, and you don't know the skills. So let's practice role play that. I love it.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Thank you, Coach. Great questions today.
Yeah, it was a good one. I think it led to some really good discussion. So, hey, if you guys like this, if you think this is valuable, if you think that you're learning something here, make sure you subscribe, make sure you catch the next one, and share it with someone that you know could get some value from this. Who do you know that could really benefit hearing some of these conversations, getting some of these answers? Make sure that you're sharing this with someone, and make sure that you guys are showing up for all of our next ones.
Yeah, show up and listen. You are only as great as your strategies and your skills. And if you don't have the systems, you can scale up. And here we talk about questions that covers everything from mindset, skill, strategy, business, leadership. Oh my gosh. So we're going to be doing this pretty much every week, right, Coach?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Show up, and take notes. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you soon. Go sell our homes. Ciao.